So a while back, I did this like '60s, early '70s Motown kind of video, and it was fine and all, but it was really more about picking the drums and the cymbals and whatnot. I didn't get as much into like the mixing of it as I would have liked, and I at the time wasn't like working on a particular project. So since then, the video got an okay amount of views, which was kind of cool, and I wanted to take it down. But luckily, before I did, somebody reached out to me from the UK about doing tracks in a similar genre and a similar focus. So we're diving back in. We're doing this again. Different approach, slightly. Same type of drums and whatnot, but we're just gonna go through mic rundown, maybe some preamp stuff real quick. I have no outboard gear outside of preamps, so everything's happening in the box. I do like that for a couple of reasons, but we have a lot of control. Most of the sound that we're getting from this mix overall is going to be from the room mic, the overhead mic, the knee mic. We're going to have some other little spot mics just for reinforcement. I know they're going to get used. It's fine. It's in the mix. But again, just like a heads up when you're doing stuff for other people, it can be cool to have like a one mic setup and have a cool vibe and whatever. But if you're not like working with your own band, and definitely not working in the same room or even in the same state or country in this case, you want to just know that you have all those options. If they go, hey, this has no personality to it, we don't want it, they don't have to use it, but you're just planning ahead. Okay, so here we go. All right, guys. So obviously the full mix is a little bit more present in a bit more of a modern way, which I think just, we need that and the client needs that. As far as the rig rundown of the kit, we talked about some variables between like hi-hat cymbals, ride cymbals, a cheap pair of like CB drums or something equivalent, super thin, but they kind of stay out of the room mics and the snare mic as well. Once you start compressing and doing some of those things, you can get some things to creep in and be a little bit more present that you may not want. A lot of it also has to do with the playing. So I'm playing a lot lighter on the takes that I did for the client, probably lighter than I actually played on some of the other individual microphone demonstrations as well. But just know everything's going to be on a case-by-case basis, so everything's going to change. So don't get super stuck in your ways. Unless somebody hears something that you've done and says, I want that exact mix. But down the road, things can change. So again, back to like we said before about having the other close mics included, and having a way that they mix in well where they're balanced. It doesn't sound super modern, but you have enough of everything included. Drums and cymbals can vary. Use what you have. Try to tune to the best of your ability as well as your knowledge of that type of music that you're going for. I went to the Pioneer instead of the Superphonic for this particular track, so that's what ended up in this video. But the Superphonic has been on standby here and made it on its way of a million other tracks, but definitely on other tracks on this particular record for this client. So just use your ears. Key components, compression, for obvious normal compression elements, but also for the harmonic distortion and the crunch. If you have any kind of plugins or hardware that have any added like tube saturation, I have a tube preamp, so I tried to use that as much as I could between the overhead mic and the I think the outside kick is usually my go-to for that UA preamp. The APIs have a nice input-output, so you can get a little bit more harmonic saturation out of the preamp. You can get some nice tape saturation from any of the tape emulators. Waves makes a great J37, which is like $30. Tape echo, delay, some slapback, stuff like that, and reverb. So those are your real three go-to character moves. Obviously EQ is going to be something you want to pay attention to and dial that in before you get into any of the character mics. But again, so we have a little bit of wiggle room and we have some options, but kind of go down those different rabbit holes and see what you can come up with. Everybody's approach can be different, and we can get to the same end game in a lot of different ways, but still end up in a close proximity. So do it your own way and have fun with it. Obviously, if you guys have any questions, hit me up. There'll be links in the bottom of the thing. Thanks for watching.